you're fine.
Like I said. Like I said. Like I said. Do you like my tail? Like I said.
Welcome to another installment of Iron Rage, the show where Lee Priest and I vent our frustrations with the world. Today, welcome back, Lee. Let me just say that first.
Well, pretty much you normally say the world of bodybuilding, but really sometimes it's just frustration with the world. And, you know, I got off Facebook for a while, and I understand why I did, because just being back on there, Dave, the shit people post, oh my God, I actually read today. Here's something, this will upset the religious people, but, you know, we had the bushfires and stuff over here.
Yeah.
And a drought. So it would have been a week ago. Everyone's pray for rain, have those prayer circles, pray for rain, pray for rain. Now we've got a lot of rain and some floods, and people have been killed from the floods, and they're saying how bad it is. You can't fucking win. You prayed for it. You prayed for rain. God delivered. Shut the fuck up.
Maybe too many people prayed for it. They over-prayed for it, you know?
Well, the thing is, though, if God sends it, you can't go against God. If someone died because of the rain, maybe God thought that person was a cunt and he killed him. And then I read on the news today, who had a storm last night, some guy got killed by a gas bottle. The gas bottle was flying through the air from the wind and hit him. You know, not since the Holocaust has someone been killed by gas. Right. And it's like, you know, just like ridiculous. They upset the Jews and the religious people then. But what I really wanted to say about Facebook was, now, I don't know if you've done this, Dave. If you have, you're an idiot. But I was going through the feed yesterday, and there's about 4 of them. And this is what it said. 4 years today, I lost Mum. It's very sad. Blah, blah, blah. Another one, 8 years today since Dad's been gone. I miss your Dad. Terrible. It's like, look, if you lose your mum and dad, that's upsetting. But you know what? Call your brother, call your sister. If you lost your mum, call your dad. Speak to them. Don't post it for 5,000 people who don't fucking know you, because we don't give a fucking shit. You're doing it for sympathy. Oh, hang in there, mate. We're with you. It's sad. But look. You're doing it to people you don't know. Would you go through the supermarket pushing your trolley in the meat aisle? You see a woman, as you're pushing your trolley, you turn to her and go, 3 years today since I lost Mum. That's a sad day, but I'll probably get on. Go a bit further down to the produce aisle, see a guy. 3 years today since I lost Mum, but, you know, I'm getting there. I'm hanging in there. I think of her often. You wouldn't do it in fucking public to strangers, so why put it on fucking Facebook, for fuck's sake? We don't care. Call your relatives. Call the people that actually care. Fucking hell.
I think people use Facebook almost as like their you know, people used to have diaries where they would write down all their personal thoughts to kind of relieve.
Yeah, but, you know, things like that, they're getting sympathy. It's like with this woman who committed suicide in England. Now everyone's putting up. If someone has a problem, dudes, talk about it. Talk to your friends. Listen. When I cut my wrist, I was happy the day before. I was happy that day. In that small hour is when I changed my mind and went, and I've had a friend, I had dinner with him, happy as Larry, never had a problem. Well, you don't know they've got problems. Went for dinner. He's like, Lee, see you tomorrow. Wednesday we'll do this. Went home that night and shot himself. So generally people who are going to commit suicide do it in that split second where their mind changes. The ones that go on there saying, well, I'm going to kill myself, she left me, this and that, they're fishing for fucking compliments, they're fishing for fucking sympathy. Oh, don't do it. Everyone that says they're going to do it never fucking does it. That's why when people do it, it's such a shock. So my advice is, when you do it, if you're going to do it, I'm not recommending you do it, leave a note. Don't leave your loved ones wondering why you did it. Leave a note saying, I did this, Mum, because you treated me like a cunt my whole life, I blah, blah, blah. I hope you fucking can never live with yourself because I've killed myself, so fuck you. So,
and by the way, please print this on Facebook. Yeah, please post this on Facebook for me.
Yeah, so that's my rant about Facebook. Stop posting your shit about loved ones dying. We don't care. You wouldn't tell strangers in the street. And as for the suicide, well, you know, people that say they're going to do it, don't do it. And if you do it, like I said, leave a note so the authorities and loved ones know why you did it. Don't go, I wonder if it was because I said this. I wonder if because this happened. I wonder if because he wasn't happy. Leave a note. There you go. Thank you.
But like you said, sometimes people make a split-haired decision and they don't really have time to do the note. Right? I guess if they sat down and wrote the note, they might talk themselves out of it.
Exactly. That's how it generally happens. That's why, you know, cutting the wrist when I said I did mine and I went back in for a second go, it stung, it woke me up. You know, there are those suicides, but, you know, gun to the head, boom, there's no coming back. Or you wonder, whether that fucker that jumps off a building or a bridge, halfway down he's thinking, oh, this was a fucking bad idea. But, you know, there's no coming back from that. So I guess if you're going to do it, you know, do it so you don't.
I had a friend I grew up with, a very good friend. He jumped off the Verrazano Bridge in New York, and he said he thought that on the way down too, and he actually lived. And there was no one lives. And then he was better. He was great. He was in a good mood. And then 2 years later, he killed himself, like ODing on drugs. So who knows?
I reckon a lot of people that do die from that jumping off bridges, I reckon it's actually painful because a lot of them end up drowning because a lot of them, I watched a documentary on it, you know, happy documentary, on when they hit the water because, you know, it's like hitting concrete.
Yeah.
They reckon that inside your ribs and everything just shatter and it punctures your lungs and punctures everything. So you're still alive, then you're drowning. So you might have a couple of seconds to think, that was a bad idea. Blah, blah, blah,
well, you know what? My friend actually told me the reason he jumped off the bridge is because he researched the most successful ways to kill yourself, and the bridge jumping, especially at the height of the Verrazano Bridge, at the highest point, was like almost 100%. It was like one person survived before him. He was like the second person to survive. and you know what? He said when they picked him up, when they picked the ship, like a boat, he's floating. Luckily, he could swim. He's swimming. Boat comes by, and they're like really nasty to him. They're like, you know, they're like cursing at him and stuff like that. Like he's like half dead, you know, from the jump. He's like he shattered some vertebrae and stuff like that. And they're like treating him like terrible, you know. They were really pissed at him.
Well, lucky they didn't just hold his head under and go.
Yeah. He would have been better off if they did that.
And then put him in. But you figured that would have changed your life if you did that and you survived and you're in that 1%, you'd be like, you know what? I think I might change my life.
I thought he was going to be fine, but you know what? If you have a chemical or a problem with your brain, and, you know, you could be woken up by that type of a situation, but then what happens is you just regress right back to where you were again because you don't have the tool set to deal with it. I don't think he ever went to, like, counseling and stuff like that and tried to deal with it.
But it's like, you know, I was being funny on Facebook too the other day, and I mentioned the word retard. You know, I go live on there, and I mentioned retard. This woman was on there. I'm highly offended. You're disgusting, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why are you following me? But generally, people know how I talk and carry on.
Yeah, well, she's fine with you calling people a cunt, but you can't use the word retard, you know?
No, but what I'm thinking is, her name was Kathy, I think, with a K. I'm thinking to myself, maybe Kathy's got a retarded child. And it's like, you know, I said, Kathy, look, don't get mad at me because the cord wrapped around the neck, cut the oxygen off the kid's brain for a while, and now you've got a fucking retard that sits there. I said, and trust me, if your kid's that retarded, he doesn't know I'm saying he's fucking retarded. So I gave Kathy advice to take her son for a drive and put that tube in the window and keep accelerating for a while and go nighty-night. But, you know, not that I'm condoning suicide again, but, you know, but then I figured it's the husband I got to worry about now because say Kathy did try and do that. They got the retarded kid. She tries to kill herself and fails. And now she's fucking retarded. Now the guy's got to look after the retarded kid and the retarded wife. Some people just have bad lives, I tell you.
I think you just defend everyone. That's what it's all about, you know. But it's a talent you have. It's a talent you have.
It's comedy. It's a gift, Dave. Yeah. It's a gift.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's your opinion on the sale of the Olympia? Now that the Olympia is in different hands, Jake Wood has purchased it. He is, has big plans for it. He also purchased Muscle and Fitness and Flex magazine. The titles, they're going to make them all digital now, which is smart. But, I mean, are you kind of excited to see maybe a breath of fresh air, breathed into the Olympia?
It's like, I would always get in trouble back in the day. I remember when I'd always get in trouble because even back when I was competing, that's going back. Yeah. I'd always say the Arnold was much better, and I'd get in trouble, Robin Chang wouldn't like and other people wouldn't like. Lee can't say, but I said the Arnold treats the competitors better. It's a much better run show.
You're right.
And this is when they would say this, like when D'Amelio was at the helm and then, the other people took over after that. But I said, you're saying, the Olympia is the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. If you're saying the Super Bowl, that's like something big. I said it's the fucking toilet bowl, not the fucking Super Bowl. And I get in fucking trouble for saying that all the time because it could have been so much bigger, but it just seemed like they were lazy back then. It just seemed like the people that were running it, Wayne or whoever else, were making their little money on the side. So it's like they didn't want it to expand. And when you look at, from when Wayne had it to when where it was with AMI and now where it's going now, really from all those years, it hasn't really gone that far. Typically, when you look at it as far as marketing goes, as far as mainstream goes, even back when Wayne had, at least you had a few billboards up around town on the way into Vegas. The fucking guy with a fucking hand puppet on his thing's got fucking billboards up. You got the Super Bowl of fucking our sport. and it gets what, a little banner over the fucking expo hall and maybe a couple of posters at the New Orleans on the elevator doors. Big fucking deal. Whack off to that, you fucking wankers. It doesn't mean shit. So now that someone's brought it, put it this way, Dave, it can't go fucking backwards, can it? So
well, look at what Jake did for that World Bodybuilding Championship for the women, the Rising Phoenix. He gave away 75 grand plus a Jeep, or I think this year was a Hellcat, which I know you would have loved to have won. Yeah. And he made a big pomp and circumstance for these girls and made them feel special. I mean, that if he does that for the Olympia, even that little bit of extra is going to be huge, I think.
Yeah, well, it's like when I listened to your Heavy Muscle with John and that, and I agree, because I remember back in the day, I used to say I'd give prize money to the women because Kathy was competing, and the way they used to treat the women bodybuilders, and it kept going down and down and down, and then like John said, they pushed them over to the fucking expo hall, and here's the fucking, meant to be the pinnacle to Miss Olympia, and you're going on the fucking expo hall, but yet the slut who fucks for protein and the titties hanging out in bikini gets the major stage at the fucking arena. Go fuck yourself. You're a fucking whore that walks around an expo with your titties hanging out. No one cares. Doing that pose, showing your fucking vagina from behind. We don't care. These women bust their fucking ass and you're getting more money than them. Yeah. Fuck off. But it can only be better, Dave, as I'm saying.
Well, my suggestion...
You're not going to get money rise for this fucking video, Dave.
Yeah, right. You know what? We've been losing all the monetization lately because they say the language is inappropriate. Yeah, I wonder why.
Like I said, and when I was listening to you, like you and John said, how they used to have like those contracts where you couldn't talk to the athletes. I said back then they were screwing it for themselves rather than getting all this free promotion and free publicity and stuff like that. Ridiculous. And I used to always argue with Steve when I was with MD. I said, Steve, why can't I do an interview there? People know I'm with MD, but the more they see me elsewhere, it's going to bring them to your magazine.
Right, you're representing his brand. Right.
Exactly. It'd be like fucking somebody wearing Nike logo, but I don't want you going on TV in case this place over here that sponsors Reebok athletes shows your interview and shit like that. We can't go doing any of that stuff. But like, wouldn't that be better for you being here's an athlete wearing MD in a Flex magazine? It's like, fucking hell, what more could you have? Or
I never understood it. I don't know why. I don't know why they never had a press area. It was like, I think things got stuck in the old way of doing things, and it never got, like you said, it never got updated. And now with some new life in here,
I used to push the envelope when I was with Muscle and Fitness or MD. Somebody like, I used to get on great with Robert Kennedy. I was with Muscle Maker, but before I was with Robert Kennedy, like, gee, Lee would love to do an interview. I said, well, there's plenty out there of me. You can just sort of use words from that. But I said, would love photos of you. I said, well, look, I train in a public gym. There's not much I can do about it. So if I just happen to be training arms one day and Artie Zeller or Jerry Frederick snaps a couple of pictures to go along with your article, well, it's not like I agreed to it, is it? So I used to sometimes do those type of little photo shoots. I'm like, well, what the fuck? It's like, come on. It's like,
it was all ego for the different people who own these magazines and these exclusive athletes. And then a lot of times the athletes were just sitting on the shelf because when you have so many athletes, you can't use everyone. So these guys were getting no publicity. It was terrible. It was ridiculous, really. I mean, if you think about
it. I could never understand that. That's like even when I went back and used to argue about the bit about athletes competing. It's like, okay, as a pro athlete, and in the contract, even the supplement contracts and the contract you signed to be an IFBB pro athlete, I'm not sure if it's different now, in there it's stated you were an independent contractor. So it's not like the IFBB, like if you sign with the NFL team, that team's actually paying you. It's not like the IFBB back then was paying me $100,000 a year to be an IFBB athlete. They put on a show and gave me the opportunity to make money. So it's like, okay, if the IFBB doesn't have a show on, but the PDI did or NABA did, and I can make money at that show and it's not in conflict with your show right now because you don't have a show on, why can't I go over there and make extra money on the side and doing what I do? It's like, everyone still wins. It's like they're making money, you're making money. Now they've seen an IFBB athlete at another show. It's like, I can never understand that whole little crap trying to hold everyone together like that. It's like...
Right. Or like you make a good point. Maybe the IFBB should offer 10 exclusive contracts where you have to stay with the IFBB because you're under contract with them. So maybe the 10 best guys in the world get paid $100,000 a year by the IFBB to represent that brand, And then they can't do it. Then I would understand why you wouldn't want them to do other shows and appearances
And
at other
exactly.
shows, because they're representing the IFBB brand, as contracted athletes.
And if you are a contracted athlete like that, that would be good, because that way at least make the athletes compete 2 or 3 times a year.
Absolutely. And you can give them health benefits.
This once a year bullshit. It's like, look at you can't compare it to other sports because there's more money, but NFL, tennis, and all these people, to get to the big shows, look how many games an NFL player plays a year. Look how many tennis tournaments a tennis player has to play a year. We get these guys that sit around, eat all day, inject fucking drugs and go, oh, fuck, the Olympia's coming up. I got to diet for it. Oh, poor fucking me, poor fucking me. It's like, shut the fuck up. And then when you get to the Olympia stage, you're not even in shape, you fucking lazy cunt. Oh, I use that word cunt again. There goes the money, Tyler.
There goes the money, yeah.
Fucking video again.
You're going to get paid in peanuts this month.
This video is costing me money, just.
No, but it would be great. If you had 10 contracted athletes, you can give them health benefits too, right?
Exactly. And really, it's all a tax write-off. Come on, it all goes under sponsorship and this and that.
Well, here's my question, Lee. What is the IFBB using for the sanction fee money for now? In other words, if I want to hold an IFBB show, I got to pay a sanction fee. So that sanction fee can be used to finance a couple of exclusive IFBB pro contracts that they would give out, and that would be something that you would gun for. Hey, I want to get an IFBB contract, so I'm going to compete more. I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to represent the sport in an intelligent, prestigious way.
Well, this is the argument I used to have even back when Joe Weider did, because Joe Weider had that passion for the sport. God rest his soul. But it's like, even back then, I used to argue the point saying, look, yes, Joe Weider come along, he did all this for bodybuilding, but you got to remember, it's a two-way street. Look what bodybuilding did for Joe Weider and the bodybuilders did for him.
Yeah.
He was worth all these millions. And I used to think back then, why couldn't they put a couple of $1 million or however much set aside in an interest-bearing account for medical for the athletes, for whatever, this and that? It's like, it was crazy. Even back then, okay, you might have these people, ambulance guy backstage, but why, you got all these other sports, baseball, this and that, they've all got team doctors. Why couldn't they, like back in the beginning when Weider run it, have some doctor there who knows bodybuilding, a sports doctor that any athlete could contact and talk to if they had problems, or go and see and get checkups? Or it could have been like, okay, you're under contract with us, we're giving you health care. Every year, every athlete has to go to wherever this doctor is, or he comes to California, or they go there and he does all their blood work, he does all their stress tests. So, every other fucking sporting team has a team doctor, so why couldn't bodybuilding, it's like...
No, it's a good idea, but, I don't know if you can do every athlete, but I would certainly say that the elite athletes, they can pick people from every sport and give them maybe 10 contracts out where they represent the sport. They have to, wear the gear if they go on interviews, but they can interview with anyone. They can do whatever they want. They're just representing the IFBB. They get, as a benefit, they get a salary. They get health benefits offered to them. It's a no-brainer. I mean, and think about it. The athletes are paying for their pro card. The promoters are paying for IFBB sanctions for the pro shows. There certainly would be enough money there to fund that, I think.
And some of the top guys too take the stress off, because I remember pros who might do okay, but you think they're paying their pro card, they're paying their way to the contest, they're paying their accommodation. So to them, it's like the whole stress of getting ready for a show. Some of them have to take time off work to go and compete, so they're not going to be in their best shape possible. But if you could have an athlete who is being paid, he knows he's got health care, he knows he's got a contract coming in, he's probably going to come in better shape. It's like when we see those guys that go to Kuwait, because everything's taken care of. All they have to do is sleep, eat, and train.
Right.
People say, oh, it's the drugs over there. It's not the drugs over there. The drugs are the same fucking worldwide. It's just because they're catered to. Their meals are done.
Right.
If you knew your meals were done, you can say, this is what I need to eat today, and it's ready for you. It's so easy. I can go sleep now. I can go train now. I can go get a massage now. You don't have the stress of the family, the bills coming in. Come contest time, I used to remember sometimes you'd start thinking, okay, contract's coming up. I've got to come in this show in great shape, so I hopefully get re-signed. You used to get sometimes 2 or 3 year contracts, it was good. But when they started doing the yearly contracts, when you knew it was coming up, you're like, oh, shit, if I don't get re-signed. This is what people didn't know about me, though. Because I love training, I never did it for the money. I had jobs cleaning factories at night, cleaning homes, doing whatever, working with fire equipment, doing the sprinkler system. So even when I was a pro athlete, because in my heyday, I was probably making close to 19,000 a month, and then when the suspensions come and blah blah blah, I went from 18,000 down to 4,000. That's a big drop, and people are like, oh my God, Lee, that's a lot of money. But look, I said, even with the 4,000, I still got food on my table.
Sure.
I still got a roof over my head. I can still go to the gym and train. So to me, it was never about the money. But but sometimes it's just good to know it's there, so you don't have to all these other stresses if you are going for like the Mr. Olympia or something.
I think people would train harder and they would represent better the IFBB if they knew that they had to worry about a contract renewal every year and they were getting paid a nice salary from the IFBB. I think that they would promote the show, and that's something that maybe the Olympia, that Jake Wood is now financing. Maybe the Olympia gives out some contracts. I don't know.
Well, it's like you and John was saying. It's like this guy actually loves the sport. He loves women's bodybuilding and loves that. And it's like any job, Dave. You see some of these big companies like Google or anything. It's not just about the athletes. It's about the people that runs the company or runs the business, runs the sport. If they're respectful and give back to the workers will fucking bust their ass for that boss, will bust their ass for that person. Yeah. So if you've got a promoter, you've got somebody running the IFBB who you know is in your fucking corner, he's there for you all the time and he's really pushing for you, you're going to be proud and make him proud and want to fucking come in. But if you've got someone like, people used to hate Wayne, so people like, oh, fucking Wayne, hate this show, hate that show, he treats us like shit at this. So when you got that attitude, you don't give a fuck. So it's like, you're not going to come in at your best and do your best because you're like, I'm just here to do this because I'm contracted to do, say like Muscle Tech wants me to do 3 shows a year, so I'm going to do this show. I don't give a fuck how I look, blah, blah, blah. So it's just...
It'll be interesting to see how this all works out because now we have the Rock show coming up a couple weeks after the Olympia. We have the Olympia now that will be run by Jake Wood and Dan Solomon. And then obviously the Arnold. That's kind of like the triumvirate, the 3 shows that kind of like cover the 3 big shows. And of course New York Pro, but we're talking about mega shows with expos and stuff like that.
Is the cat out of the bag yet on what the Rock show is going to be about yet, or is it still sort of...
I don't know, but I hear I hear Phil Heath might be his comeback show right there. I don't know if he's going to even do the Olympia.
Or will it be Kai Green's comeback show? Could you imagine those two going back at it?
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see Kai Green on stage again, to be honest with you. I just think that it's...
maybe that's his plan to let you think that you're never going to see him.
What about maybe Lee Priest versus Phil Heath on stage at the Rock show? That could be something.
I'm happy to get second. That's fine by me. It's just I'd be happy. Just
if the Rock came to you and said, "I want you to do my show," would you do it?
If my neck was in good order, yeah.
Well, I mean, but your neck's never going to be perfect, right?
No, it's never going to be perfect. But if, like I said, if the discrepancy in the size came back just from that little bit of nerve damage, I'd do it. Or I can move down to the board short class, or maybe.
You should call up Greg Valentino and let him start injecting, 10 cc bottles of testosterone into your arms and stuff like that.
Or I could just do that. Look. Now it's good to be transgender or non-binary. I could just go do the women's and say, stop your fucking bitching, I'm transgender, okay? I'm doing the fucking women's category. That's my right as a man to be a woman today, so I'm doing... But the problem is, if I went to women's class, I might get fucking beat, so I better not fucking do that either. People
would be like, you think Lee Priest's face tattoo was a radical thing? He had his penis cut off just so he could switch divisions. Can you believe this fucking guy?
Hey, Dave, I'm doing the women's. I'd have to get a fucking enlargement to fit in with some of them women. What do you mean cut off? I'd be up there with my fucking tallywhacker like this, or shriveled up from diuretics, and nobody had the big fucking clitoris fucking 4 inches longer than my fucking penis. It's like after a contest, the girl goes to give me head. She's like, "Where is it?" Like that. You go to give a head to a woman after the Olympia. You've got her clitoris like this, fucking working the shaft. It's like.
I thought we might have saved the monetization, but now we lost it for sure, yeah.
Well, now you get no money for this show. This wasn't even what the show was meant to be about. It's meant to be about fucking internet people stealing stuff.
That's another show. We got sidetracked. It's funny, we were just talking on After Hours about Greg Valentino possibly making a comeback at 60 years old. How
did his operation on his throat go?
Very good. He had the penis that was in the back of his throat, and he had it removed. They said it was successful.
Blackman's happy to get his cock back, isn't he?
Greg did tell us he has striated glutes. He didn't show them to us, but Romano was going to send pictures of them to
And
Blackman.
that was another good point too. Steve must be kicking himself because if he had kept yous on and the way it was progressing, could you imagine if Steve had brought the Olympia?
Oh, we said
Oh.
that. It would have been crazy. He would have loved it.
Like walking into his room would be like walking into a fucking bowl of yogurt. There'd be that much fucking semen everywhere. It'd be like the cleaners had just been. What's that fucking ammonia smell that's coming from Steve's room? Fucking hell. It'd be like fucking.
He would have been like Hugh Hefner with the smoking
like those
jacket
days
on.
when you're a young kid and you're with that fucking girl for the first time, you put down her pants, you pull it up. It's like you've been making bread because there's a yeast infection, a thrush on your fingers. It's like, what the fuck is that? It looks like the fucking snowman's all built up around your balls from the thrush yeast infection on the fucking vagina.
Oh my God.
Now you've definitely lost all the money for this show. And no, people, I'm not on drugs. I'm not nutty. This is the way my fucking brain works.
This is the way his brain is wired. What about, what do you think, I also talked about it after hours, did you see the PJ Bron video that was released that I guess some girl had put up on Reddit? I guess PJ had sent her a video of himself masturbating.
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, you missed a good one. You better go do your research.
What's he doing? Actually just masturbate? Does it show his whole self-masturbating?
Yeah, he showed himself masturbating. I guess he sent it to her, and texted it to her.
Was he in shape?
She worked for him.
What I was going to say, because when you see PGA contests, he always has all these girls hanging around that are pretty good looking. So I'm sure there's probably been a ton of videos he sent the girls, and they've probably sent to him of masturbating, fingering, bending over, the old Snapchat shit back and forth. So this one girl probably just didn't get a contract, so she's probably like, you know what, I got a video.
She worked at the office, the Blackstone office. I don't know if she got fired or she left. I guess probably after she left or whatever, that's when she posted the video that he had sent her. So I don't know.
She'll be calling Gloria Allred soon after Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of for PJ.
I hope PJ though got it from if you're masturbating. I don't know this day, but if you're masturbating or taking a cock shot, always put the camera down here like this, so when it's looking up like this, so the penis looks a lot bigger. You're like, my God, look at the head of his penis. It's up past his belly button. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion, people. So that's you get the right angle when you're fucking doing it like that. But
you sound like you might have experience in that. Yeah.
Back in the day before the tattoos, because look, Dave, I can't do it. Say someone says, Lee, can you send a picture of me masturbating? Look at my hand or this. It's not like I can fucking hide, is it? It's not like.
Well,
Jesus.
PJ showed his face, so they didn't have to hide.
Yeah, but just say I wanted to hide my face, Dave. Look, I can't fucking.
Well, why don't you put your Darth Vader glove on?
I could just put on a glove, but then it's like I got tattoos across my stomach. If I do the cum shot, you're going to see the thing. But what
you have to put you have to put like a sterile field around your genital area.
This is how I could get away with it. I could agree and say yes, that is my hand, people, but it's not my cock. I'm actually pulling somebody else off. Yes, I'll admit it's my hand. I'm helping out Mr. Blackman over here in the corner, but it's, contracts are hard to get these days, Dave. You got to do what you can. So, I've gone keto with Blackman, and now I'm jacking him off just so I can hopefully get a Hey, Ron Harris is still there. He's doing something.
No, he's owed money. That's why he's staying there, hoping he's going to get paid at some point. That's what his issue is.
Know. But I'd still think though, because you're saying how Steve listens to the shows and that after you listen to your last one, he's probably sitting there thinking, shit, yes, I could have probably brought the Olympia, and that would have been, he always would have loved that back in the day,
If it wasn't, if it wasn't for his wife, he definitely would have bought it. He would have gone into that bank account, pulled out the money, and bought it. No doubt. He would have loved it. It would have been perfect for him. He would have been in heaven.
If it wasn't for his wife, he would have had naked men in the house every day for the last 10 years.
No, but
you know what they call Steve's wife? Fucking cock block, and I mean cock block. She's been blocking all his fucking cocks for the last 20 odd years.
Oh,
at least,
man.
I love Ed Connors. At least Ed Connors admitted he was gay. At least, Steve, come on. It's like, it's time. The closet door's fucking hanging off. Just kick the fucker open. Come on out. It's okay to be that way. Maybe they're bisexual. They have a relationship where they can do whatever they want to do.
There's so much controversy in this show that if I had to list it like on a piece of paper, I think we'd have to go over to the other side at this point. So
Well, let's talk about something nice. You know,
Will you make an appearance at this year's Olympia now that there's new blood there, just to see what's going on?
If I was invited, if someone wanted to bring me over for it, I'd be there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know.
I'm sure.
You've seen me in person, Dave. I can act normal every now and then.
Yeah. We got to get you to come to some show, in the U.S.
If they would like me to come over and do like a live commentary of the show, Dave,
that's
I'm
right.
more
Yeah.
than happy.
Yeah, maybe.
What's not the trust about me doing a live commentary?
All they're going to hear is the truth. That's it. But as we say at a Heavy Muscle Radio, the truth hurts, Lee, and so a lot of times people don't want to hear that.
And so does Blackburn with no lube. Trust me, those fucking contracts were hard to get.
On that very rough and abrasive last note, I think we're going to say bid you farewell. I'm Dave Palumbo with Lee Priest for another non-monetizable after hours. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Another non-monetizable Iron Rage. See you next week.
He promised just the tip, but that's none of my business.
What's in that cup? It looks mysteriously like what might have
semen.